Yes, welcome to this live session. It was in 2021 and I made this mistake, and I am Tosi Omotosho. If you're just meeting me for the first time, and I run a a law firm where we practice real estate and business law. So this is what happened and how I lost the money. So I've been involved in a transaction where I had discussions with my client, and we had this back and forth thing. You know how it is when you're negotiating about your prices, and then you give this figure as your price, and the other party, the client says no, it's this figure. And so we had this back and forth thing, but we didn't really agree. We didn't really agree, or I thought that we had reached a figure that was agreeable to both of us. And it was at the point of then concluding the transaction, I now issued an invoice, and the client says no. I actually thought we agreed for this. I'm actually paying this. That was what I had in mind. Very terrible situation. I can laugh about it now, but trust me, then it wasn't funny. And this was one mistake that I wouldn't make again. Okay. Now, so what happened in this story? The fact was that I did not document my transaction on time. Now, when you are going into any form of transaction at all, you have to note that as human beings, we have many things we are thinking about. It might not necessarily be a case of the other party wants to dupe you or defraud you. It might just be a case of, okay, maybe you didn't really communicate well. Maybe the other party, you didn't really agree when you thought you had agreed. So you had it back and forth, and then you're probably thinking we've agreed to this, and the other party actually thinks it is something else that you both agreed to. The best way to be able to solve this is to put it in writing as soon as possible. All right. So what I should have done in that scenario would have been, after our discussion on our prices, I should have immediately sent an email saying this is the invoice, these are the services we're offering, and this is the amount. And I would have been able at that point, if I had done that, to be able to know that, oh, my client actually thought it was for a lesser price. I would have been able to trash it, because then I then have to settle for something lesser. All right. So when it comes to transactions, there are rules guiding every transaction. Business transactions, you want to employ people, you want to buy real estate, you want to buy anything at all. Make sure it is written down, because at the point where you thought you and the other party had agreed to something, it's possible there was no agreement. And what makes a transaction complete is that both parties have negotiated and they have concluded, and then you have a written contract. Make sure it's written down. Don't do like what I did, and don't just write it down. Write it down on time. Don't write it down when you are halfway done with what you're supposed to do in that transaction before you write it down, so you can be sure that you and the other party are on the same page. So because of this episode, I put together contract rules. All right, contract rules I usually share with my clients, and I'll be sharing them with you today. And I actually named those contract rules an acronym called DNSG. So never forget that when you want to go into any form of contract, remember the DNSG rule. So what does the DNSG rule stand for? Number one, the D stands for document. So if you're going to any transaction, you want to invest in someone's business, someone wants to invest in your business, you want to start up a business, document it. Let both of you, or if you're more than two, let everyone sit down, have a hard talk, and talk about everything that you need to talk about. How that transaction is going to be structured, all right? And what is going to be the benefit of each person? What will be the responsibilities of each person? What is this person getting out of the transaction? Don't just discuss this. Document it, and that's what that D stands for. Now the N stands for negotiate. Of course, at the point of document, negotiate the transaction. So if you want to have a back and forth thing, make sure that the negotiation goes on and is included when you reach a mutual place where both of you then agree. You then document it. Now when you have done that, make sure that it is, the S stands for sign. Because we've had instances where people will go ahead with get a document, a contract drafted, but they don't sign it, they just drop it somewhere in their office. It's important that you sign that document. Never forget that. Sign the document. And then the G stands for get your own copy. So get your copy of that transaction, of that contract that you have. Alright, if you follow these contract rules, you'll be able to save yourself headache and avoid making this kind of mistake that I made the other time that made me lose almost ₦1 million. Alright, so I am just a motor show and I offer legal services for those who want to put their transactions into writing, who want properly drafted contracts for their different, for their business or for their real estate. There's a link. I'll be putting a link in the description box where you can contact us if you want to engage our services for that. And I've got a lot more videos on my channel that you should go ahead and watch, and it will help you so much. So if you have any questions watching this video, just type them in the comment section below and I'll be glad to answer every question that you have. Alright, so enjoy the rest of your day and bye-bye.